Guys, in life, okay, sometimes people make mistakes. I make mistakes. Your parents, your friends, you yourself make mistakes. And I just want to apologize. Apologize to all my frenziers out there. I'm starting to sound like Hulk Hogan from the 1980s now. To everyone out there, I'm sorry for going 1-3 in my picks for the NFL on the games that I covered. Can't win them all. And I'm apologizing to the 3 teams that I got wrong, I picked against. So you can't win them all. And that's the whole thing. You just can't win them all. Welcome to Pigskin Frenzy on this wonderful Thursday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joel Norris. And if you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, listening on Podbean, listening on Apple, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some NFL coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X, Instagram, and Facebook, all you got to do is type in Pigskin Frenzy. Follow, like the pages there. You'll get episode updates. You'll get news and highlights from across college and NFL football. You'll get trivia questions on Instagram stories, go and answer today's, as well as all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Apologetic Thursday today. Sorry. Guys, not sorry. It's just football, baby. It's just football. So, Week 10 NFL recap. We're going to go over, the games that I covered and report on the games on Week 10. We're going to, end it with a game I didn't cover. You probably already know what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about the Pigskin injury report for NFL. Who's in Sunday? Who's out for the remainder of the season? Who's coming back? We're going to get into that. We're also going to preview and predict and look ahead to the top matchups of Week 11 and the games that I am covering. Guys, keep plugging into Pigskin Frenzy on all platforms: YouTube, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, Facebook, X, Instagram, you name it. Keep plugging in to Pigskin Frenzy. Big things are starting to happen. We're starting to line things up. It's all going to align eventually. Stay the course with Pigskin Frenzy. Now, NFL recap Week 10. Numero uno of the games that I got wrong. Final score, Browns 33, Ravens 31. Let's kick it off with the stats, and then we'll break the game down for a little bit. Deshaun Watson, 20 for 34 with 213 yards and a touchdown with an interception. 8 carries with 37 yards. Jerome Ford, 17 carries with 107 yards. Kareem Hunt, 10 carries with 32 yards and a touchdown. Amari Cooper, 6 receptions with 98 yards. David Njoku, 6 receptions with 58 yards. By the way, still in my eyes, one of the most underrated tight ends in the National Football League, David Njoku. Elijah Moore, 5 receptions with 44 yards and a touchdown. And the defense played very stingy and forced 2 turnovers, one by defensive back Mike Ford and one by defensive back Greg Newsome. Defensive back Martin Emerson Jr. played really well as well with 8 total tackles. Let's go with the Ravens really quick before we dive deep into the game. Lamar Jackson, 13 for 23 with 223 yards. A touchdown and 2 interceptions, 8 carries for 41 yards. Keaton Mitchell, who got a lot of touches this game, and by the way, per John Harbaugh, Baltimore Ravens head coach, he has said that expect more touches from Keaton Mitchell. He was pretty good on the ground this past Sunday. 3 carries with 34 yards and a touchdown with a 32-yard reception. Gus Edwards, 11 carries with 24 yards and a touchdown. Zay Flowers, 5 receptions with 73 yards. Mark Andrews, 2 receptions with 44 yards. Odell Beckham, a 40-yard touchdown catch. Rashad Bateman, 2 receptions for 25 yards. And the defense played really well, and it was led by linebacker Roquan Smith, safety Kyle Hamilton, and linebacker Patrick Queen. Guys, if I had a freak athlete award for this show, I would give it to linebacker Roquan Smith for the Baltimore Ravens. My goodness, he racked up 21 total tackles. 21 total tackles. That's incredible. Hamilton notched 8 tackles and an interception, and Queen racked up 9 total tackles. The game itself was played by really just good defense, right? Honestly, it was cool to see the Browns win. This is a tight division this year, featuring the Bengals, the Browns, Ravens, and Steelers. It is a tight race between all four teams. Everybody wants it. Everyone's trying to get, everyone's trying to leap up each other and get that edge and grasp on the division, but no one can seem to control their own destiny in the division because it's so competitive this year. The Steelers have a date with destiny Sunday with the Browns, a rematch with the Cleveland Browns. Ravens tonight face the Bengals. The AFC North is colliding again. Unprofessional of me. I had to clear my throat. But the Browns, they look good. Stingy defense. And by the way, without the stingy defense and the good defensive play, I don't think Deshaun Watson would have led a game-winning drive with 3 minutes in the fourth quarter for Dustin Hopkins to go kick the game winner. I think the defense played a big factor for both teams in this game. 33-31, Browns defeat the Ravens, and it was a good game overall. I think what the Browns could do is they have a great, solid defensive line. I think the Browns, and this is just my take, 7 wins, 3 losses. I think with the injuries that are piling up for this team, I think that is what's hurting it all right now for the Browns. Now, granted, consistent football, that's one for the Browns. Consistent football, staying healthy, and not only that, I think playing good defense has helped them in a lot of games, and not just really in a lot of games. It just helped them in a lot. They're 7-3 or 6-3. Sorry, they're 6-3. And if I remember correctly, let me look on my notes here. I think 6-3. They're 6-3. Ravens are 7-3. So when you look at this, the game itself, defensive game overall, bottom line, I think the defense has wanted this one both. In the end, Deshaun Watson had a remarkable drive to lead Dustin Hopkins to a walk-off field goal in Baltimore. So last matchup that were played, Baltimore won. Second matchup now that's played, Browns won it. Final score, Browns 33, Ravens 31. Lamar Jackson played good. Just needs to take better care of the football. Ravens got a game tonight that's going to be, impactful in the division race and a good, impactful on their record as well if they don't pull it out. So let's see what happens there. Browns 33, Ravens 31. Browns got the Steelers. The Ravens have the Bengals tonight. Now, let's move on and let's talk about the 49ers and the Jaguars. Now, this game, I was way off, and I'm not going to lie. One of the three, another of the 3 games that I got wrong. The Niners, when healthy, are one of the best teams in the NFL. I've said that. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. Final score, 34-3. 49ers rout the Jaguars coming off the bye. Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams both returned. All their guys were healthy, ready to go. Came off the bye week, prepared and ready to play. Didn't want to lose a third game, and this is the result that we got from this game, the outcome that we got from this game. Brock Purdy, 19 for 26 with 296 yards and 3 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, 16 carries with 95 yards, 6 receptions with 47 yards. This ends the record-tying streak that he was trying to get for at least a touchdown in a game for Christian McCaffrey. That streak ended against Jacksonville. Elijah Mitchell, 8 carries with 23 yards. Deebo Samuel, 4 receptions with 30 yards, 3 carries with 29 yards and a touchdown. Welcome back, Deebo. George Kittle, the People's tight end, 3 receptions with 116 yards and 1 touchdown. Brandon Ayuk, 3 receptions with 55 yards and a touchdown. How about Kyle Juszczyk, guys? Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback out of Harvard. Man, what a sensational blocker and sensational football player for this team. 2 receptions with 26 yards and a touchdown for Kyle Juszczyk. The defense played solid. They only held Jacksonville to 3 points, and they forced not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumbles, including a strip sack by the edge duo of Nick Bosa and Chase Young. Linebacker Dre Greenlaw notched up 8 total tackles. Now let's go to the stats really quick for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then let's talk about the game. Trevor Lawrence, 17 for 29 with 185 yards and 2 interceptions. Travis Etienne, 9 carries with 35 yards. D'Ernest Johnson, 3 carries with 12 yards, 2 receptions with 28 yards. Christian Kirk, 6 receptions with 104 yards. Calvin Ridley, 2 receptions with 20 yards. Tim Jones, 2 receptions with 17 yards. Evan Ingram, 4 receptions with 12 yards, and the defense did their absolute best, but just couldn't hold the Niners. But linebacker Devin Lloyd led the team with 10 total tackles. Now, remember last week I said that one of the big keys was for the Niners is to get their guys back. Play healthy and be healthy coming off the bye because you really couldn't afford to lose 4 straight, and they got all their guys back. They were well prepared heading into this game, heading in from after the bye, and they were ready to rock and roll. And they played it. Trent Williams, big part of this team than most people realize, like I said before, because he helped Brock Purdy out, and Brock Purdy went back to playing how Brock Purdy's been playing, since last season, too, since taking over last season as a starting quarterback. So the Niners look good. And then the edge duo of Nick Bosa and Chase Young, I said if they needed, I said the Jaguars needed to contain that. And they didn't. One of the first plays was a strip sack by both guys, the former Ohio State, now current Niners teammates, Chase Young and Nick Bosa together. And that was, strip sack, perfect defense. And 3 points, 4 turnovers. Couldn't ask for much better defense than that right there, ladies and gentlemen. Solid game for the Niners. They needed all their guys back and when healthy, and I've said it, when healthy, the Niners are one of the creams of the crops, probably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the National Football League. The Jacksonville Jaguars will be just fine. That's their third loss. I don't expect them to fall off too much. They just ran into a brick wall, and they played the 49ers at a bad time when getting all their guys back and coming off of a bye week where they were needed to prepare to win a game because they've lost 3 straight before this bye week. So, they just kind of ran into a brick wall. Was it at home? Yes, didn't make much of a difference, but the Niners just prevailed in this one. The Jaguars are going to be okay. Now, what the Jaguars need to look forward to is the Houston Texans in the AFC South. We're going to get into the Houston Texans in just a little bit, but when you look at them, they play such perfect ball. So this is the only game that I think the Jaguars kind of did not play their best on. Now, I would say they've been playing close to perfect ball. And I would say perfect ball. I'll have to retract that statement, but they've been playing good football. This is the only game where they haven't played all that well because they really couldn't do anything. It was all 49ers from the get-go, from start to finish. It was San Francisco, but the Jaguars will be okay. I fully expect them to make a run at the playoffs and probably at the AFC South. So let's see what happens there. But the Texans are still rumbling in that division. Final score 34-3. 49ers defeat the Jaguars, and Jaguars go back to the drawing board while the Niners, let's see if they can stay healthy and keep this momentum going. Now, Texans at Bengals. Now, I said this game was tricky, and it was tricky, and I said that the Bengals did not need to lose another game. They couldn't lose. They couldn't afford it. They just could not afford it. It's one of those situations where it's win out as much as you can now and then afford to lose one later. And they lost. They lost, ladies and gentlemen. They lost. Final score, Texans 30, Bengals 27. No. They couldn't afford it. And they did lose this game. I warned it. I said this was going to be a tricky game. If the Bengals don't play physical football up front, key here in just a little bit, they did not play physical football. They could probably very well drop this game and find a way to contain CJ Stroud. Well, let's go with the stats, and then I'll show you, and talk about, why I was right on these keys. CJ Stroud, 23 for 39 with 356 yards, a touchdown with an interception, 2 carries with 8 yards and a touchdown. Devin Singletary, the former Buffalo Bill, 30 carries with 150 yards and a touchdown. an 11-yard catch. Noah Brown, 7 receptions with 172 yards. Dalton Schultz, 4 receptions with 71 yards. Tank Dell, 6 receptions with 56 yards and a touchdown, a 13-yard run as well. John Mechie, 2 receptions with 25 yards. The defense put on an inspiring effort led by safety DeAndre Houston Carson, defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, and defensive back Shaquille Griffin. Houston Carson notched 7 tackles and an interception. Rankins racked up 5 tackles and 3 sacks. Griffin racked up 5 total tackles and an interception. Now let's go to the Bengals really quick. Joe Burrow, 27 for 40 with 347 yards and 2 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. 5 carries with 20 yards. Joe Mixon, 11 carries with 46 yards and a touchdown. Jamar Chase, 5 receptions with 124 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Boyd, 8 receptions with 117 yards. Trenton Irwin, 2 receptions with 54 yards and a touchdown. Tanner Hudson, 6 receptions with 33 yards. Drew Sample, 2 receptions with 12 yards. And the defense played solid. It was once again led by defensive backs Cam Taylor-Britt and Mike Hilton and linebacker Jermaine Pratt. Taylor-Britt notched 9 total tackles and an interception. Hilton racked up 8 total tackles, and Pratt notched 9 total tackles. Let me get a sip of water really quick. A lot of talking. Sorry. Guys, tricky game, and I said it. I said that the Bengals couldn't afford to lose this one, and they did. 27-17 start of the fourth. Joe Burrow threw a pick, and it was to Houston Carson. 27-17. They stopped the Bengals stopped them on defense. They got the ball back, kicked the field goal. 27-24. Stopped them. Houston again, made it 27-27 to go into overtime. And then Houston wins the game with a walk-off field goal in overtime. 30-24. Now, 30-27. Sorry, 30-27. Now, Texans. I warned you guys. I said that the Texans were a team that you needed to watch out for. Texans were the team that with C.J. Stroud, with rookie linebacker Will Anderson, with Devin Singletary, with Noah Brown at receiver now, and the pieces they got and they're building, I would watch out. They are trying to win now, not just in 2 to 3 years. They're trying to win right now with DeMeco Ryans. They're 5-4 now, guys. They're 5-4. Pay attention to them. And this is my warning shot for everybody kind of not hating on the, kind of like not hating on the Houston Texans right now. Do not tread lightly on this team. They are playing some of their best football they've had in a while. 5-4. They are very much well in contention for the South and very much well alive for a playoff spot. So do not underestimate the Houston Texans, please. That's a solid team that they got going right now. C.J. Stroud not only making his case for Rookie of the Year, he's making his case for MVP. All right. MVP as a rookie, guys. He's played lights out so far. He has not had many bad games. Let's just put it that way. He is the latest game was just this one, but a week and a half ago, he played the Buccaneers, put up 470 yards and 5 touchdowns. That is a rookie quarterback putting up those numbers. Guys, please pay attention again to the Houston Texans. They are playing some of their best ball, both sides of the ball. They're physical on defense, and they're playing really good with on offense, especially led by C.J. Stroud in the passing attack. So Houston, solid team. Watch out for them in the AFC South. This was a good win for them on the road as well. Now, as for the Bengals, when you look at them, they did not need to lose this game. I'm going to keep saying it. They just did it. Again, win majority of your games now and lose later on. That's what they needed to do. And it happened. They lost now, and it's not. They can't do that. They can't afford it. That's just the bottom line. They can't afford it. I said they needed to protect Joe Burrow, and 4 sacks on the line is not a good way of protecting your quarterback. I mean, 4 sacks is getting up there. I mean, listen, I get it. There's going to be times where you get sacked, but not consistently, guys. Not consistently. this team gave up 4 sacks. That's probably a key reason why they lost this game Sunday. Sheldon Rankins had 3 alone out of those 4. So they needed to protect Joe Burrow better up front. Not only that, the turnovers were costly, 2 interceptions, and just playing physical. If you just play physical and keep the ball, protect the ball, and, protect your quarterback, you're good. That's basic football 101. Also, staying healthy is a issue right now for the Bengals. They lost T. Higgins. He did not play this past Sunday due to a hamstring. And I think the injuries are starting to mount up on the defensive front and in the wide receiving core there. They thought Jamar Chase wasn't going to be able to play, but he ended up playing. He had a back issue earlier in the week. But the Bengals need to get healthy, protect Joe Burrow, and play better physical football and protect the football, please. Those are the basic key elements of an ingredient of a successful team, because this team can be successful with the talent that they got, but they are tripping up on games like this. They do not need to lose. Final score, 30-27. Texans defeat the Bengals by 3 on the road. CJ Stroud, impressive in the South. Just keep an eye on the Texans. I keep saying that. I'm warning you guys. Keep an eye on the Texans. Bengals going back to the drawing board. Let's see if they can do something tonight against the Ravens on Thursday Night Football on Prime. Now, last game, and I got it right. Just gonna spoil it there. The only game that I got right. Lions Chargers. Final score, Lions 41, Chargers 38. I picked the Lions. I picked the Lions to win. Let's go with the stats. And I'm going to tell you why this game honestly did surprise me, though, because I got the outcome right, but the game itself I got wrong in general. 41-38, Lions defeated the Chargers. Jared Goff, 23 for 33 with 333 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jared Goff, man, he is playing like a madman this season. David Montgomery, he's back. 12 carries with 116 yards and a touchdown after missing 2 games with a rib injury. Jahmyr Gibbs, rookie out of Alabama, 14 carries with 77 yards and 2 touchdowns, 3 receptions with 35 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the leader of the receiving corps and the big-time leader for this team, 8 receptions with 156 yards and a touchdown, 2 carries with 9 yards. Khalif Raymond, 2 receptions with 46 yards. Sam Laporta, the rookie tight end sensation, 4 receptions with 40 yards. Brock Wright, 2 receptions with 23 yards and a touchdown. Jamison Williams, 2 receptions with 18 yards, and Josh Reynolds, 2 receptions with 15 yards. The defense brought it to the Chargers, but the Chargers managed to put up 38 points still, and they forced an interception late. Now, the Chargers, let's read off the stats before I break this game down. Justin Herbert, 27 for 40 with 323 yards and 4 touchdowns with 1 interception. 4 carries with 15 yards. Austin Eckler, 19 carries with 67 yards and a touchdown. 4 receptions with 48 yards. Joshua Kelly, 5 carries with 16 yards. Keenan Allen, 11 receptions with 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Guyton, 4 receptions with 41 yards and a touchdown. Quentin Johnson, 4 receptions with 34 yards and a touchdown. Donald Parham Jr., 2 receptions with 18 yards. And the defense gave it their all in this game. Safety Derwin James was the highlight, actually, with 13 total tackles. Now, the Lions, let's go with them really quick. Playing just amazing football still. Recovering nicely from that Baltimore Ravens loss. They are recovering nicely from that loss. Had a good win against the Raiders. Coming off a bye week, played the Chargers, ended up winning. Guys, Lions are doing it, man. They look good. The Lions are looking good. This is a 2-loss team. They're 8-2. 2-loss team. This is insane. The Lions, 8-2. Guys, come on. 8-2 going into the year or starting out the year 8-2. I mean, come on. You can't predict. I mean, this is great. The Lions haven't been 8-2 in like years, guys. Years. It's been a long time. The Lions are playing some pretty good football. Dan Campbell coaching them guys up well. They look good on all sides of the ball. The secondary really kind of, got to me in this one. They were kind of my key players of the game, especially safety Kirby Joseph. He played lights out for the secondary for the Lions. He made a lot of open field tackles and good tackles for this defense, as well as, they picked him off late. And picked off Justin Herbert late in the game. So the Lions played really well, and they're looking to continue to roll, man. I'm hype up on the Dan Campbell and Detroit Lions hype train, man. The Detroit Lions playing some pretty good football, and they control their destiny in the NFC North, which would be their first NFC North title ever. The Chargers, I said this game was going to be a blowout. I said it was going to be the Lions winning by 2 scores because let's face it, the Chargers did play good against the Jets. Yes. They played good a couple of weeks ago. Yes, but against the Bears. Yes, but when you look at this team against a formidable opponent, they have not played up to par, which I thought was due to the coaching staff. I still do. And I think that they weren't going to do that as well. I was wrong about that. I'm going to eat my crow. The Chargers probably heard my show last week. I hope they did at least, and proved me wrong. 4 touchdowns and 323 yards for Justin Herbert. And then Keenan Allen, 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. They went off, man. They played some good football. They brought it to the Detroit Lions at home. The Lions just had a little bit of a better edge going into this game, especially with the momentum that they got. The Chargers, man, I think they have the potential to be so much more with the talent that they got on defense and on offense with Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James. Asante Samuel. Then you got an offense. You got a $262 million quarterback in Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. You got some guys on this weapon, on a lot of these weapons on this team that are just amazing. The roster's loaded, but the coaching is what is getting the Chargers at this point. And I've always said that the Chargers can be so much more. That's why I was kind of doubting them going into this game, but they proved me wrong. They really did prove me wrong. They played exceptionally well. They played good on defense for the first time this season, and I really did like Derwin James in this game with the 13 total tackles for the Chargers. So final score, Lions 41, Chargers 38. The Lions are going to keep on rolling. The Chargers going back to the drawing board with this one, but they played a really good team and played actually pretty well. So that my confidence in the Los Angeles Chargers have kind of gone back up a little bit. They made me eat crow there. So before we move on to the Pigskin Frenzy NFL Injury Report, we're going to recap one more game that I did not really report on. But we're going to talk about it anyway because you probably already saw it on socials and you probably watched it Monday Night Football on ESPN, but we're going to talk about it. Monday Night Football, Orchard Park, New York. Bills, Broncos. Man. All I got to say is this. Final score was Broncos 24, Bills 22. Upset in Orchard Park, New York. Let's go with the stats, and we will break this game down. Russell Wilson, 24 for 29 with 193 yards and 2 touchdowns, 9 carries with 30 yards. Javonte Williams, 21 carries with 79 yards, 4 receptions with 31 yards and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton, 8 receptions with 53 yards and a touchdown. Samaje Perine, 3 receptions with 35 yards, 8-yard carry. Jerry Jeudy, 3 receptions with 35 yards. And the defense gave the offense fits and even forced 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles, and 2 interceptions. 1 interception by defensive back Fabian Moreau and safety Justin Simmons. Josh Allen, 15 for 26 with 177 yards and a touchdown with 2 interceptions, 4 carries with 13 yards and a touchdown. James Cook, 12 carries with 109 yards, 2 receptions with 11 yards. Latavius Murray, 9 carries with 68 yards and a touchdown. Gabe Davis, 2 receptions with 56 yards. Dalton Kincaid, 5 receptions with 51 yards and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 3 receptions with 34 yards. Khalil Shakir, 24-yard reception. And the defense only forced 1 turnover, but sacked Russell Wilson and the Broncos 4 times. Now, the Bills. You know what? Let's not go to the Bills really quick. Let's go to the Broncos really quick. 4-5 Before the deadline, before the NFL trade deadline, people were writing them off. I wasn't writing anybody off. I mean, I was sitting here, just reporting on it, but a lot of people were writing the Denver Broncos off, saying we're going to clean house. Russell Wilson won't be there next year. We're going to get, trade Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton away, get a whole new team led by Sean Payton's vision. They're still there. And by the way, they've been balling ever since. Who knew? I mean, who knew this was going to happen? They upset the Chiefs, upset the Bills in Monday Night Football. Who knew this was going to happen? That's three actually. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They beat the Packers, beat the Chiefs, and now beat the Bills. I mean, who expected this? Who saw this coming? I didn't see it coming. 4-5, and they're still in it for a playoff spot. They're in it for a playoff spot. If they beat the Chiefs again, I'm not saying they are, but if they, they're tied up. I forgot they're tied up because they already played, right? They already played. That's 2 games they've already played already. So they're tied up. If somehow the Chiefs lose a couple more games and the Broncos end up winning out, I'm not saying they are, but what if? We've seen crazier things. I feel like I'm in the twilight zone with football this season. So what if it happens? Who knows? By the way, does anybody know this? This stat that Russell Wilson is up there with touchdown passes with Patrick Mahomes with 17? He's near 20 touchdown passes. Russell Wilson has been playing quietly that no one's noticed, like his old self. And no one has really just paid attention to it, but he has. The Broncos are in a way better spot than they were last year. 24-22, they just upset the Bills. Crazy, man. This is a crazy game. They played really well protecting. They played really good on the ground a little bit. Russell Wilson played a good game, and they played really well on the defensive side of things. They gave the offense and Josh Allen fits, and they found a way. They scratched and clawed and found a way to win. So good on the Broncos for winning. They have a game that we're going to report on. They have a game Sunday night and Sunday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings at home. We're going to report on that one, and we're going to preview and predict that one coming up here in a little bit. But let's talk about the Bills. Another team that did not need to lose this. They did not need to lose a game, and they lost. They're 5-5. 5-5. With the talent they got, they're 5-5. Come on, man. Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback in the league, and he's got near 10 interceptions so far. I get it, but he's near a top 5 quarterback in the league. The line needs to help him protect better. He's got a solid receiver in Stephon Diggs, and you're thinking, with the talent that they got, what is it? What is it? They got James Cook running the ball, running the rock for him. Latavius Murray, Dalton Kincaid, who's been a rookie tight end from Utah, has been sensational since Dawson Knox was out on IR. So what is it? What is it? I think the offense looks a little sluggish too, but they're in a funk mentally, I think. Mentally prepared, because I think how they've been coming to prepare for football games here as of late has not been up to par with what I'm used to seeing from the Buffalo Bills. Think about it. First play of the game, they fumbled the ball to the Broncos. They fumbled it. First play of the game, it was 14-54 on the clock in the first quarter, and it was already 1 turnover. When you think about it, they need to be prepared mentally. I think mentally, and just be prepared mentally for the game. I think that's the best answer I can give about the Buffalo Bills. The Bills have fired offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. Quarterback coach Joe Brady, if y'all remember him, he led and co-offensive coordinator the LSU 2019 National Championship team, and was the former offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. But he was the quarterback coach, but now he's going to be the interim offensive coordinator until they find somebody else. And he will lead this team on offense for the time being. Because of a lot of the turnovers, because of a lot of the mistakes on offense, they had to get rid and change play callers. Let's see if it helps. Who knows? But I think being prepared mentally is a big thing for the Bills right now. They need to wake up a little bit and get ready, because this schedule is going to be a lot tougher. They're 5-5, and they're fighting for a playoff spot. They are a team that needs to be ahead and in number 1 seed, honestly, or number 2 seed, not a 5-5 in the hunt trying to fight for it. So one more thing before we conclude this recap. A big reason was going back to preparedness for the Bills. Did y'all catch the ending of the game? The ending of the game, field goal by Will Lutz. He missed. You know what happened? Flag was thrown. Why? 12 men on the field. 12 men on the field. Get another try, field goal, got it. Broncos win it. Mental preparedness. You got to be prepared in situations. You got to be prepared to play winning football. You got to be prepared to win, prepare themselves to win. And they're not preparing and not having the mental preparation right now to win some of these games. They need to change that and change it quick. Final score, Broncos 24, Bills 22. The Bills need to wake up before this schedule, week 11, so on, gets a lot more tougher. The Broncos, surprising everybody at 4-5, did not see it coming from them. Now, after the Pigskin Frenzy NFL Injury Report, I've been hearing a lot of thoughts about the New England Patriots in Foxborough. I've been trying to avoid this topic a little bit, but I can't avoid it any longer. We're going to talk about this game. And not this game. We're going to talk about the Patriots and them playing football in the game as a whole. We're going to talk about the Patriots in general. But let's go with the NFL Injury Report for Pigskin Frenzy, and let's just go through this really quick. Breaking news as well. Found out yesterday. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has a fractured bone in his shoulder. He will have surgery, which is season-ending, and will miss the remainder of the 2023 season. Dorian Thompson-Robinson will start Robinson-Thompson will start for the Browns. PJ Walker will be lurking in the shadows as a backup. Thoughts and prayers go out to Deshaun Watson, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery. You lose your star quarterback, you lose your star running back. Tough break for the Cleveland Browns on offense, but that defense sure is working, sure is cooking. So, Cowboys linebacker Leighton Van Esk is out for the remainder of the season due to a neck injury, and his career is in question. This announcement came from Cowboys owner Jerry Jones on 103.5 The Fan. So, 105.3, 103.5 The Fan. So I appreciate that report, and prayers go out to Leighton Van Esk. He's a solid linebacker, underrated linebacker for that defense, and prayers and thoughts go out to him as he hopefully makes a speedy recovery and his career takes a good trend upward. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins is expected to miss his second straight game due to a hamstring injury tonight, and the Bengals play the Ravens. Bengals defensive end Sam Hubbard is also out with an ankle injury tonight, and he will not play as well. So 2 big losses for the Bengals. Injuries are starting to add up. That's a big factor right here. So two more things. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford is expected to return Sunday versus the Seahawks after being out with a thumb injury. He missed a few games with a thumb injury. He's not 100%, but he's going to play through it. Matthew Stafford has always been a tough quarterback, so I admire what he's playing through right now. And finally, Browns running back Nick Chubb had a successful second surgery repairing his ACL. He had successful surgery back in September repairing his meniscus and MCL, and he's expected to return in 2024. Good on Chubb. Glad his recovery is going well, and thoughts and prayers for everybody on this list going through injuries, and hopefully, get a speedy recovery, as fast as they can. Now, before we go to the week 11 preview and predictions, let's talk about what's going on in Foxborough, and let's talk about the New England Patriots just for a little bit. Not going to touch on it too much, but I'm going to make some bold things. I was high on the Patriots. I was. You're going to think, really? Yeah, I was. Earlier in the year, I was. 2 months have passed. You would think, man, I covered one of their games even. I did the Dolphins and Patriots game earlier in the year on Sunday Night Football. Dolphins won that. I picked the Dolphins to win, but the Patriots, they won a couple of games, and it was looking okay. They played really well in that game, and it looked promising until they started to lose and lose more and lose more. and lose more. And you know where I'm going with this. And the offense looked bad in the process the whole time. We thought Bill O'Brien was the answer. I thought Bill O'Brien was the answer. Turns out they got statistically one of, if not the worst offense in the league. They're 2-8. This is something that's that head coach Bill Belichick is not in familiar territory. There are rumors and reports going around that quarterback Mac Jones has lost the locker room, and he was benched this past Sunday in a huge loss again against the Colts. He was benched in the international game against the Colts. Coach Belichick was asked, "Was Mac Jones still your top quarterback in mind?" He said, "No comment." Not a good sign. There's been rumors that head coach Bill Belichick and GM, right, Bill Belichick, will him and the Patriots have mutually discussed parting ways at the end of the year, per The Athletic. And it's all starting to become a big domino effect. It's starting like the clock is starting to tick and run out. The post-Tom Brady era, everyone was thinking, fine, Tom Brady's going to be gone, but we'll still be okay. They haven't been that good, and they haven't been right since Tom Brady left. So I'm just going to put it bluntly. Made one playoff appearance with Mac Jones when he was a rookie. 2022 missed it. 2023 expected to miss it as well now that they're 2-8. It has not been the best since Tom Brady left. Let's just put it lightly. It has not been the best since he's left. So not only that, it's starting to wind down for Bill Belichick as well. The clock's starting to tick. Now, the Patriots were thinking, here's the future right here. Here's an example of this. Piggly Wiggly was a great grocery store, in the South, and especially in my home state of Mississippi. It was a great grocery store. It had the pig and Piggly Wiggly. I don't know if you've heard of it. Look it up if you haven't. But Piggly Wiggly, yes, yay. So the future was, yes, we're going to keep going and keep going to the mountaintop until the future looked. And the future came, and the future result was it closed. Excuse me. Again, unprofessional. The future of it was they closed. They closed down. Clock was starting to run out on the store of Piggly Wiggly, just like the clock is starting to run out on the Bill Belichick era of the Patriots. Mac Jones may not be there. There's going to be a change when it comes to staff. There's going to be a change when it comes to players, and I fully expect that coming at the end of the year. My honest thoughts, a new era of the New England Patriots will start very soon, and I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think the new era will start eventually, and I think it could happen at the end of the season. That's just my honest thoughts. I think the new era is coming. The Patriots kind of lost hope on them at this point right now, but I think a change is coming through all aspects of the New England Patriots organization. So that's my honest thoughts about the Patriots, and I was trying to avoid it, but I had to talk about it just for a little bit. So Week 11 preview and predictions to conclude today's episode of Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, Thursday night football, going to be electrifying on Prime. Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit on the call. Bengals at Ravens. Bengals 5-4 at Ravens 7-3. Both of them coming off of a loss. Ravens coming off of a loss to the Browns. And, well, the Bengals coming off of a loss against the mighty Houston Texans. Last matchup on September 17th, the Ravens won 27-24 in Cincinnati. So, keys to this ball game. The O-line needs to protect Joe Burrow. They gave up 4 sacks last game against the Texans. I've already mentioned that, but they need to protect this game. Protect Joe Burrow. Let Joe Burrow cook, for one. If you let him cook, it's going to be hard to stop Joe Burrow. When the time gets tough, Joe Burrow knows how to accelerate and try to, step it up a notch. So if they protect him and play physical up front, I think the Bengals can try to sneak one here. Key for the Ravens is protect the football. A couple of turnovers that that could have probably proven costly against the Browns this past Sunday. I say protect the ball. I think 2 or 3 interceptions against this Bengals team, especially with a guy like defensive back Cam Taylor-Britt, who's been notching interceptions left and right, I think will kind of hurt you in a game like this here tonight. So I think protecting the ball should be suffice for Lamar Jackson and the offense. So who wins this ball game between these two teams? Close game. And honestly, I'm going to be real with you guys, just heart to heart for a second. I was kind of struggling picking all these games. I was looking and just researching and just thinking and I'm like praying to the Lord, put this on my heart. And he did put it on my heart. Close game. The Ravens are going to make it close, but at home, I think the Ravens drop this game. I think the Bengals went back into a corner. Joe Burrow accelerates. When the time gets tough, Joe Burrow does get going. Bengals 31, Ravens 30, a point. That's it. I'm going to put a point on this. Bengals 31, Ravens 30. Bengals move to 6-4. Ravens go to 7-4. Now, Steelers at Browns, rematch time. This time in Cleveland. Steelers are 6-3. Browns are 6-3. Last matchup was played on September 18th. The Steelers won at home 26-22. Now, the key in this one was to limit Deshaun Watson, because I wrote these notes yesterday, right before yesterday's news broke of him being out for the season. So here's my key. For the Steelers, you limit you limit Dorian Robinson-Thompson. You limit him. And you limit him and make him cause mistakes. He's a rookie quarterback, so you limit him. I think if they bring some pressure to him, make him make some mistakes, and the Steelers can probably find a way to get this one done. I think for the Browns, to win this game is the defense has got a hole, and they got to stay in it. I believe in the Browns defense. I think they're one of the best in the league, honestly, and I think the defense needs to lock down these Pittsburgh wide receivers, because they got some animals. They got George Pickens. They got Deontay Johnson. They got some guys, man. Connor Hayward replacing Pat Freiermuth. I think they got some guys. And to me, I think that's what needs to be done. Slow down these weapons for the Steelers and slow down these guys, because they can create some explosive plays on offense, and try to limit them and try to keep this game and contain them and keep this game close, and or could be low scoring so y'all can win the game. Who wins this game? I think, and I'm going to be honest, I was leaning towards the Browns, but after the season-ending injury to Deshaun Watson, it's just hard. I think the defense is so good, but I think the Steelers find a way to win this one on the road, close. Sunday game in the afternoon, early window. Steelers defeat the Browns by a score of 24-10. Steelers 24, Browns 10. I think that they cause mistakes to DRT, the rookie quarterback, and I think the Steelers come away with a win. 24-10, Steelers defeat the Browns. Now, 2 more games. Sunday Night Football, the Vikings at Broncos. Good story. Josh Dobbs, guys. Josh Dobbs, coming from Arizona after being benched and then being traded at the deadline, 1 week after being traded, comes in and wins the game in Atlanta for him. Didn't even know what was going on. Didn't even know the playbook all that well, but he dropped dimes, and they won. They defeated the Atlanta Falcons due to Josh Dobbs. Dobbs has been starting. Dobbs has been playing lights out. Kirk Cousins is offering him support and aid and helping him in any way he can. Good on Kirk Cousins. Great guy and solid dude. Both of them are. So, keys to this one. Good story on both ends. From the Broncos, comeback story for the Broncos, and Josh Dobbs, just remarkable story for him. Vikings 6-4, Broncos 4-5. Here's the key to this for the Vikings. They got to bring pressure to Russell Wilson. Do what the Bills did, but try to do it even more so. Guys, you have a solid defense, and I think if you bring pressure to Russell Wilson and cause 4 or more sacks, you should be okay. The Bills did good. The Bills ended up losing, but the Bills ended up good. I think y'all have more of a balanced offense at this point to try to ice the game on top of bringing pressure to Russell Wilson. So the Vikings just need to bring pressure to Russell Wilson. For the Broncos, establish the ground game. Listen, guys, I don't know if you know this, but the Broncos are 12th in rushing offense. They're 12th in rushing offense in the NFL. But here's the kicker, though. The Vikings are 12th in rushing defense. 12th in rushing. No, I'm sorry. They're 10th in rushing defense. My apologies. They're top 10 in rushing defense. They're 10th in rushing defense in the NFL. 12th in rushing offense for the Broncos and 10th in rushing defense in the NFL for the Vikings. I think if you establish the run game and try to catch that rushing defense off guard for the Vikings, I think you could probably end up slipping past and winning a close one at home. But I think the ground game is the utmost importance here with Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Samaje Perine. Now, big question here. Will Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson return? Because I think that's the big question there. He's questionable. I should have mentioned that on the injury report, but he was questionable. He was about to play against the Saints. They said no, they won't activate him off of IR yet. He's questionable to play, dealing with that hamstring. Will he return in Week 11? If so, that challenge with him, that duo with him and Josh Dobbs can present a challenge. It could present a real challenge. So let's just see what happens and the update on Justin Jefferson. I will keep everybody posted on socials. Now, who wins this game? I think it's going to be close at home. Good home field crowd. I think it's not going to be enough, though. I think the Vikings go to 7-4 and continue to roll with Josh Dobbs. Vikings win. Close game, though. I think it's going to be 17-10. Vikings 17, Broncos 10. Broncos go to 4-6. Vikings go to 7-4, and they continue to roll with Josh Dobbs as they, who knows, could head to a playoff spot with the Vikings. So let's just see there. Now, I told you executive decision was going to be made to cover this game. We're finally here. I'm excited. You can hear it in my voice. I'm excited. Eagles at Chiefs. Monday Night Football. I'm covering this. Eagles 8-1, Chiefs 7-2. The Super Bowl 57 rematch, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this game is going to be electrifying. It's in Arrowhead. Hometown crowd, going to be big time, going to be a packed house, going to be sold out. Super Bowl 57 rematch. Kansas City is riling up for this game. We've been waiting on it, and majority of fans in football in the world have been waiting on this game. Good offenses, strong defenses. So let's see what's got to give here, right? The top two power ranked teams are playing in this one as well. The Chiefs up top. The Eagles are also up top. Both of these teams are up top of their divisions, of their conferences, respectively, and up in the rankings, power rankings in the National Football League. So let's go with the Eagles key here. The Eagles key for this is to limit the weapons around Patrick Mahomes. I think if you limit big time Travis Kelce here, you kind of contain him a little bit and then contain the other weapons around him, like Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon. If you limit a Marquez Valdez-Scantling, a Mecole Hardman, if you limit those guys, I think the Eagles can find a way to limit everything, shut them down, and contain it, and pull away with a road win in Arrowhead. I honestly do. I think if you just limit the weapons around him, around Mahomes, you got to try to find a way to make Mahomes beat you another way. But I don't know if you want to do that because Mahomes is just freakishly talented. I mean, he's unreal. So, key for the Chiefs here would probably be to lock down the Eagles wide receivers. I think Trent McDuffie and the defenses, the secondaries, and L'Jarius Sneed, and I think they need to lock down these receivers. They're due. This secondary is due for a big game. I think a big game here big thing would be to just lock them down. They didn't do that so well in the second half of the Dolphins game in Germany a couple of weeks ago. But I think if they don't continue that, there's going to be cause problems, for the Chiefs secondary because of the threat that AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and what they present, right? They present as elite receivers, right? As a good receiving duo. So I would try to lock down and contain the Eagles wide receivers and play some good defense. Guys, who do I have winning this game? It's going to be close. Very close. 28-24. And I know hometown field is going to be great. It's going to be rocking. Mahomes, madman. He's a madman. 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time MVP. He's going to win more as well. The Chiefs are unstoppable. They are almost unstoppable. They are a solid team and a solid threat to anybody they face. Best quarterback in the NFL with Mahomes. Best duo with Kelsey and Mahomes, right? 28-24. I got the Eagles winning this game. You're going to sit there and say, you just hyped up the Chiefs. Yeah, I did. They're a solid team. But on the flip side, it is hard to count out the brick wall right now. That is the Philadelphia Eagles. That offensive line, that defensive front, that offense moving the ball. They played a close game against the Cowboys, but I think it's going to be a close game here too. The Eagles just look too good right now. I think Jalen Hurts is going to protect the ball pretty well. He's going to find his receivers down, and I think the receivers are just too good to be contained. Give me the Eagles beating the Chiefs 28-24. Eagles 28, Chiefs 24. Eagles go to 9-1 to stake their claim as the top team in the NFL. Chiefs go to 7-3 and to stake their claim as the second best in the NFL. Eagles 28, Chiefs 24 in the Super Bowl 57 rematch on Monday Night Football. Guys, that should do it for Pigskin Frenzy. A big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some NFL coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X, Facebook, and Instagram. Just type in Pigskin Frenzy. Follow, like the pages there. You'll get episode updates. You'll get news and highlights from across college and NFL football. You'll get trivia questions on Instagram stories. Go and answer today's, as well as all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, big thank you again today for just taking some time to listen. Also, go enjoy these games, guys. I'm obviously covering 4 college, 4 NFL, good college football weekend, good NFL weekend. I will be back Tuesday. We're going to recap week 12 and look ahead to the rivalry weekend, the last weekend of the regular season for college football, and unveil week 13's Frenzy playoff ranking. So until Tuesday, I'm Joel Norris signing off, and we'll see you then. For everybody out there, stay the course.